Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics on Random. Egberto Willis, your host. Thank you so kind for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. Let's make sure that all our automation kicked off. It seems like, anyway, we are going to have a great show. Let me tell you something, guys. Every time I come here, it blows my mind. Yes, there is an Ask Egberto, anything that you want to ask Egberto on Saturday. We will be having that. Anyway, let's go ahead and first, let me get this off of my head. You know, as I'm preparing for the show, I'm watching MSNBC, I'm watching the ads that they have up there, and it's mind-boggling the amount of money these guys have to put into these Medicare Advantage ads. You know, these ads are not cheap that they're putting out there. It's not cheap at all. And they're bombarding people, and here's one that drives me the most crazy. The ad goes something like this. Remember, if you have Medicare Part A and B, you may not be covered for eyes and your ears and your teeth. Remember that. So you may want to get Medicare Part C. Please remember, Medicare Part A and B, Medicare Part C doesn't automatically come when you have Medicare Part A and B. I can imagine people running to the phones and making the calls. Oh, you mean I got to go ask for Medicare Part C? And of course, Medicare Part C is Medicare Advantage. Medicare Advantage is what's going to then remove Parts A and B because now you're into private health care. It's one of the most deceptive forms of advertising to privatize healthcare that there is, and a lot of our brothers and sisters, or older brothers and sisters, are going to be falling for this. They are going to be resigning their lives to private healthcare that's going to get them killed. And for those who have Medicare Advantage, that they happen to have a good one that's working right now, as soon as the government cracks down on the evil that they do, what I mean by the evil that they do is they make you sicker than you are when they report it to the government to collect more money on your behalf. And then they make you less sick than you really are so that they can cut costs on your behalf. And that delta goes into the profit margins for the executives, the executive bonuses, and the shareholder profits. They do nothing to make you healthier. It is just there to make you sick. And I'm just seeing the commercial and it just triggered me. How can we continue to screw Americans like this, forcing them into something that ultimately is going to hurt them when they need it most? When they don't need it, when they don't need a whole lot of health care, if you're 65 and 70 and you work out and you do fine and you don't need a lot of health care, oh, it's no problem. It costs you less. But as soon as you need care, like Tom Hartman came on our program and discussed his friend who had prostate cancer, and he knew he had Medicare, and he took his Medicare to the Mayo folks and said, this is what I have health care. And that private healthcare system said, nope, we don't cover the Mayo Clinic. So even though they're the only ones with the procedure that you want to have, you cannot have it because we don't cover it. But you can go to that rinky-dinky hospital if you want to. You can go to that other hospital and they'll do what they'll do, radiation or whatever it is that they do. But you can't go to the clinic of your choice to take care of what you need to take care of. Because had you had straight Medicare A, B, and Part D and Medigap, you would have been taken care of without a problem. But they don't tell you that in the ads. The insurance agent doesn't tell you that when he's trying to sell you a policy. It drives me bonkers to see what we do to the people we claim that we love. And it drives me bonkers to see what even the what's the name of that organization for old people that now I guess some of us qualify for? The AARP. Even the AARP is selling Medicare Advantage. You know why? Because they make some money for the coffers of those who run the institution. So because an institution is a nonprofit does not mean an institution that one can rely on. Anyway, Sorry for that rant in the beginning, but it just drove me crazy to see these ads on Medicare Advantage because they fool people and they are going to get people killed. All right, welcome to the program, E2247. How are you doing? Breach MCP, thank you for writing the AARP and asking them what are they thinking. Go ahead and sell and sell Medicare Medicare Part. What is it called? Go sell Medigap if you want to sell something. AARP, please, but don't kill the people who depend on you most. Just because they are a nonprofit, AARP doesn't mean they aren't making money. John Cotter. Thank you, John. Hey, John, where are you? Are you here in the United States or are you overseas? Great hearing from you. By the way, John, today on KPFT 90.1 FM at noon, I had Mike, our new county chair. Mike Dahl was on with me for the entire hour. And we also spoke to, great. We also spoke to the editor-in-chief of the Texas Observer, who they're trying to close down right now. But we'll talk about the Texas Observer in a little bit because I got home and quickly cut that up so that we could play it here for our audience out here as well. Anyhow, Breach MCP, welcome to Politics Done Right. Who else we got here? Paul Fleming Sr. from Atlanta, welcome to Politics Done Right. E2247, where are you, E2247? What state are you in? Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain. We also have, who else is here? Our Yvette Avery Herod from Atlanta. May Wood from California. Who else is here? Carl Cox from Florida, I believe. And let's see what else we got here. Breach says, good radio show today. Thank you for liking the radio show today, Breach. I try my best. What else we got here? Melanie says, read about the drilling lease in the Gulf today. Truly incredible. You got a link for me to read, Melanie? Please put the link in there if you have it. I'd love to read that. Eric Hayes says, your answer is mental health and Secret Service has studies on this mental illness. Mass shooting almost always tells someone close. How about education of the people and this and make better care of it? There are more young people doing this, and if not this, they're committing suicide or whatever. No, let's be clear. America has no less mental issues than Japan, no less mental issues than France, no less mental issues than England, no less mental issues than any of these countries. We do not have any other issues these other countries do not have. Yet, our killing, our assassination, our murder of people with weapons of war far exceeds all these other countries. We have to start looking at where the problem is and stop buying the right-wing ridiculous sort of answers. No other country has this. Over 130 mass shootings, and we are not even done with a fourth of the year yet. How can those of you on the right that buy the crap from from the people who tell you guns don't kill people, people kill? I mean, how do you buy that when day after day after day we have these mass killings? Progressives, we just have to keep doing our work, and we just have to disregard the leadership. The MAGA leadership we must disregard, and we just have to push forward and try to talk to those who would listen. That is what we've got to do. Julie Henderson is in the house. Where are you located, Julia? And by the way, John Cotter is from here, Houston. Eric Hayes is from Houston as well. Julie Henderson, I'm not sure where she's from. The world does have mental illness, but they also have healthcare. Very such a true statement. A very true statement. E2247, I still don't know where you're from. E2247, let me know what city you're in or what state or whichever one you want to tell me. If you don't want to tell me, then that's fine. Eric Hayes says, Egberto, why did you not bash Tim Black on his view? Because I agree with Tim Black. If I lived in a neighborhood where a break into my home could occur, I would have bought a gun myself. I hate guns. But listen to what he said. He's not against gun control. He's not against background checks. He's not against any of those issues. He's not against banning AR-15s. What he's saying is many progressives just want no guns and body in someone's home, etc. And he's not for that. He wants to be able to protect himself in a dangerous neighborhood where cops don't come or where you can't trust cops. And I am 100% in agreement. Julie Henderson is from Massachusetts. I am 100% in agreement with Tim Black on that issue. Bruce Pollard says they would have had to search the perp space to maybe find the weapons. Red flag might not do that. Again, but you know what? She bought all those guns legally. All those guns legally. All right, let's see what else we have. Anyhow, so what I want to do here, Texas has a magazine, the TexasObserver. We're the greats of Molly Ivan, great reporter, great. She was once the editor of this magazine. President Johnson she gave President Johnson hell when he was in the Senate, among other things, right? She's a true progressive. True progressive. So what happens? Their board meets and they voted to shutter Texas's progressive magazine, the TexasObserver. Well, I want you to listen. I called up, or rather I tweeted the editor-in-chief this morning, said, hey, I want to get you on KPFT 90.1 to talk about what you're doing. And he got back with me and said, just tell me the time. Let's get busy. So we went ahead and arranged the time. And here is the editor-in-chief of TexasObserver. And we'll take it on the other side. We have online with us right now Gabriel Arana, the executive editor of the TexasObserver. Let's talk. Bring him on, please. There we go. All right, Gabriel, how are you doing today?
Good. I'm the editor-in-chief, but more titles the better.
Hey, well, you know, I always kind of twist those words out somehow. Anyway, look here. I woke up to an email a few days ago that spoke about the home of Molly Ivins and all the great progressive Texas writers disappearing. Tell me about what's going on, sir.
Yeah. So on Sunday, we found out from the Texas Tribune that we were all losing our jobs and that the board had decided to shut down the magazine. They talked to the press before they told us a thing. We had been, asking for information for weeks. We'd been offering to help with fundraising and total radio silence. So, this came in as a total surprise and a shock to everyone. And, as soon as it happened, we decided to get to work and raise money so we wouldn't have to shut down.
Gabriel, I need to really verify. I want to see if I understood what you said. Did you tell me that you guys did not hear about the fate of this magazine, Molly Ivins' home, the home of great writers who challenged Johnson and all the presidents, etc.? You didn't hear about that until you read it in the Tribune, the Texas Tribune?
Yep, that's right. It's crazy. You would think that the board would want to work with us, and we, involve us in any decision involving shutting down the publication. But no, total surprise. We found out from another outlet. Which is, really unfortunate.
Well, it's also, to me, it's disrespectful. First of all, tell our audience a bit of who and what is the TexasObserver.
So the TexasObserver is a nonprofit media outlet, progressive publication. It's been around since 1952. We're 69. We're about to hit 70. I wouldn't be able to name all of the illustrious alums who have come through here. And we try to hold politicians accountable. And, the TexasObserver is indispensable. As they say, how Texas goes, so goes the nation. The truth is that women are under attack here, trans people, queer people, trans kids, drag queens. Everybody who isn't rich, white, Bible thumper is being run out of the state. And Texas needs the TexasObserver, and democracy and the free press need the TexasObserver.
There's no doubt about it. I tell you, we get a lot of our articles and our the many of the issues of the day because you guys work so hard to go to places where most of us bloggers and hosts cannot really go to. So you guys are utterly important to all of us. Now, I know that, a lot of times people say, including here at our station, people say, if people want you, they're going to invest in you. And what we've noticed is as soon as people started to see that there's a possibility that they may lose you, that you started to raise some good money. How is that going?
It's going great. I mean, we originally wanted, to raise $200K to avoid the layoffs. People keep donating. We continue to need money, so don't think we're done. So the staff got to work raising money, and it really shows how much the public cares, how much we need the Texas Observer, and how much people care about a free independent press. As I mentioned, we're a nonprofit. We don't get corporate donations. We don't have we're not some part of a big conglomerate. We're a shoestring operation, and we punch above our weight
constantly.
And, it's obvious as soon as we let out the news. People responded both with their voices on social media and, calling the staff, and then, voted with their wallets. And, the amount of the money, the total amount of money, I shouldn't say the total amount of money doesn't matter, but, what matters is, people giving what they can, even if it's $1, it's people's support and their love for the Observer that counts. And that's what we've really activated. And I mean, it's been humbling and, an honor to see, how many people love the Observer and don't want to see it go away.
Well, let me just tell you, the Texas Observer is indispensable and all over on websites I can tell you the websites from the blogger space, they will be out there supporting your cause to make sure that you stay alive. We will not let you guys go. How is it going with the board? Are the board going to reconsider, or are you guys going to reconstitute as the Texas Observer independent of that board?
We're waiting to hear what they've decided. We've asked all the people who voted to shutter the publication to resign, and let the people on the board who wanted to keep going, join with us and, try to keep the Texas Observer going. We've asked for them to get back to us by the close of business today. So, we're having internal discussions about what we could do based on whatever decision, but we're waiting to see what they say, and then we'll decide and say what we say. But we're dedicated to saving the publication. One
last question: if they decide not to do anything, do you have the option to keep the same name, reconstitute yourself with the same employees, and just go ahead and build a nonprofit around that new entity?
We don't have ownership of the name. That's why we, are asking the board to let, at least a staffer on the board. Not sure what we're going to do. I mean, the Texas Observer isn't a name. It's a piece of paper.
It's the family.
As I tweeted earlier. Yeah, it's the people who work here now, the people who've worked here before, and it's an idea in the minds of our readers who love us and don't want to see us go away.
Hey, this is Mike Doyle. If I can jump in, I've been a subscriber for decades and have seen so much of journalism. And one of the things that kind of steps out for me, knowing how well it's done, is what are the folks doing now? How many great stories have been interrupted or halfway done or halfway ready to roll out that you need to share, especially during what's going on right now in the legislature?
Yeah, I mean, we have already, to go to press, an issue of the magazine about attacks on women's health care. And, the staff is still working, trying to raise money, but still working at the same time and still publishing, daily, still doing the work that we believe is important and standing up for social justice. And, we're doing the exact same thing we've done, the whole time we've been here, and trying to raise money, but also continuing to work. And hoping we can get this issue of the magazine out.
Excellent. Anything else you want to ask, Chairman?
Yeah, no, thank you. So many of the great stories that have come out, particularly, are so important during the legislature. And, certainly the hope is of every progressive, every Democrat, really every thinking person that wants to see what's going on in depth in the state is looking for y'all to succeed. And from the end of the day to the beginning of the day, your work is greatly appreciated.
Well, thank you so much. That means so much. And keep reading, keep subscribing.
Absolutely. That is a Texas Observer. Gabriel, do you have some final words you want before we close this segment?
Just that I'm, really proud of the staff's work. Really proud of the money we've raised, and I'd ask your listeners to go to our GoFundMe or our account on Twitter and show your support. And thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you so kindly. When I saw what was happening, I said, that's what we use our voices for. So thank you so kindly for you guys being who you have been, Molly Ivins and all the greats that there, you yourself. And I read some of your articles after I found you. You guys are simply the best. We need you here in Texas, okay?
Oh, thank you very much. So appreciate your support.
Have a wonderful day. I have their page up right now, their GoFundMe page. Check this out. They raised more than $250,000, and I'm putting the GoFundMe into the thing for anybody who wants to help these guys. They got 3.8 thousand voters so far. Donors so far, and they've raised $278,379 so far, on their way to $300,000. Let me tell you what I really think is the progressive base need to come out and pump them up and make sure that these guys stay alive. The truth of the matter is, as far as their board is concerned, I can't. It boggles the mind that some on the board would actually vote to close this great magazine down. It is almost like a few of these guys got purchased to take out the word of wisdom, the word to let Texans know how destructive their legislature has been. These are the guys. These are the guys that don't say, oh, well, it's 6 of one, 6 of the others. These are the guys that says the truth. Republican policies in Texas are killing people. Republican policies in Texas are making people sick. Republican policies in Texas are harming your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your uncle, everybody else. This is what we're talking about. John Carter says the board should be replaced by people that actually care about progressive media. I 100% agree with that, my dear brother. I 100% agree with that. Bruce Pollard said, when the mental doctor said weapons were a bad thing, the family told her to sell all her weapons, the one they knew about, but she didn't tell them she had the others. Bridge MCP says that kid may have been transgendered, but he was still a white male. But I am not going to discuss that with Bridge. Bridge is more qualified to talk about that than I am. Julie Henderson says, fascism reduces freedom rights one by one. The veterans will notice a change most. Much has changed in the past 8 years. True John Carter says, what would it take to remove the Observer from under the Tribune? I don't think the Observer and the Tribune really has a relationship. Am I missing something? I think the Tribune, the Observer is an independent, as I understand it, nonprofit under the nonprofit license of Texas Freedom or Texas Democracy something, if I recall correctly. Let's see what else we have here. E2247 says the synthesis report of 6 assessment report is overview of state knowledge and science of climate chaos, emphasizing new results since the 5th assessment report. Okay, in 2014. John Cutter says the Observer has raised over $200K in a day, and the board is supposed to respond by today. And I'll be checking out to make sure they respond, whether they responded or not. Julie Henderson says veteran military will be more aware because the change is more noticeable after being away for a few. Oh, I guess I read that already somehow, right? Anyhow, para ver qué más tengo. Bree says Bible thumpers think they literally take the word of the Bible, but they do not. If they ever went and saw what's in certain parts of the Bible, who should be stoned based on what they eat and all that kind of stuff, they'll think twice. Paul Fleming Sr. says every child has a heartbeat before being shot to death. Where's the outrage from the pro-life people in the GOP? Again, it's not about, remember, has never been about life. It has always been about power and suppressing some. Remember that. It has always been about power and suppressing some. E2247 says, why was 1934 the warmest year in the U.S.? Climate scientists often get strawman questions. So great response is, it wasn't. I guess you read that somewhere, E2247. E2247 as well says, but then ask, why do you think it is, to turn the conversation to the motivation, which is what really matters. Melanie Keelan plea to read about the drilling base in Gulf today is truly a good plea. Where is the article, my dear Melanie? Please let me see the article unless I missed it. Melanie Keelan says, it is so heartbreaking on so many levels. I spent my childhood summers on the Gulf. I want to see the article. Please send me the link. Let's see what else we got. Carl Cox says the board only cares about money. And E2247 says, he, Patas 46, breaks his promises nearly daily. John Carter says, I misunderstood his comment about the Tribune. What happened is that the Tribune got the message before the employees did. And believe it or not, one of our listeners, our supporters, Kathy Courtney, sent out an email and said, I can't take it anymore. Look at what's happening. And, I kind of read it and I couldn't believe it. So I let it pass a few hours and I'm like, wait a minute. Kathy just said the Observer is going away. And it was like, oh my God, our progressive mag's gone. Anyway, Melanie Keelan says this stuff is out of his hands, drilling in Alaska too. The issue isn't about which year was the warmest, but how frequently warmer than average years are occurring and how much warmer than average they are. That's right. Hey, y'all, from Lee Grant. Anyway, some of you were talking about the gun issue. I want you guys to see this because this hurts to the core. Here we have a Tennessee Republican who just throws his hands up in the air and says, my daddy told me that if somebody wants to kill you and they don't care, they're going to still be able to kill you. And then he says, I want you to listen to this and then we'll take it on the other side because this is the heights of incompetence and someone that does not believe in Congress solving America's problems. Check out what he has to say. It's a very short clip.
It's a horrible, horrible situation, and we're not going to fix it. Criminals are going to be criminals, and my daddy fought in the Second World War, fought in the Pacific, fought the Japanese, and he told me, he said, buddy, he said, if somebody wants to take you out and doesn't mind losing their life, there's not a whole heck of a lot you can do about it.
What should be done to protect people like your little girl from being safe at school?
Well, we homeschool her, but that's our decision. Some people don't have that option, and frankly, some people don't need to do it. I mean, they don't have to. It just suited our needs much better.
Did you hear that? When now it's personalized to him now. What about your kid? Ta-da-ta, ta-da-ta, ta-da-ta. And then he goes out there and he says, oh, I homeschool my kids. In other words, I'm not going to put my kids out there to get their heads blown off. And I'm not going to work. So therefore, I don't have to worry about passing laws to prevent there to be manufacture of AR-15s getting into the hands of anybody who wants to go out there and mass murder. Do you get it? Do you really, really understand the pathetic nature of these people? They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They care about their immediate families and their ideology. Hey, Paul Fleming, I listened to the hearing on, that hearing on C-SPAN on my way to KPFT. That was a hell of a hearing. I'm going to get some outtakes of that hearing to play tomorrow because you are so right, sir. I don't know which part the SEIU got, but I mentioned about it a bit on KPFT today when this guy had the nerve to say, I am successful. When you say billionaire, I earned it. And the way he said he earned that billion, my blood pressure spiked when he said he earned that billion or the billions that he has. Because for every barista that I have given a tip to, for every barista that has prepared my Starbucks, for every barista that has done all these things that I watch, I will continue to support Starbucks. I will continue to go to Starbucks. I will continue to love on my baristas. But unfortunately, some of that capital appreciation would be going to Schultz. I would also be supporting the unionization of all my baristas who want to be unionized. And I think they all should want to be unionized. He played God. We don't need no stinking union. We give great things. And, there was one of the senators that had the best thing. Who are you? If it's a big company, who are you to know what is right for your employees? They can't have a direct relationship with you, and that's why you have a union. The same reason you as a corporation are part of your own union, the manufacturers union, or they don't call it unions, right? The manufacturers union and all these other things. Paul said he knew what would have gotten my attention. You know me well, Brother Paul. You know me well. All of you know me well. All right. Julie Henderson says, Tennessee senator took family photo with underage children holding AR. I should put that one in the video when I post-process it. Melanie Keelan says, I posted the Guardian link. Thank you so kindly, Melanie. I'll look for it. I trust that you mean somewhere in here and I missed it. Let's see what else we got here. Summer of 76 was thrown at us incessantly when UK broke symbolic 40°C record last July, even though temperatures in 76 had been broken multiple times between. Eric K. says, how realistic is the climate goal, etc., and at what cost? Cost is not an option in climate change. That is how trastornado the right wing has you thinking. If something is existential, then cost does not matter. I repeat, if something is existential, cost cannot matter. Because if cost prevents you from solving an existential problem, ultimately cost is immaterial because you're dead. If I could get folks to just think sometimes on these particular issues, I'm talking about those folks who are climate deniers or those folks who don't understand things. All right, let's see what else we got. Lee Grant said we'd prevent more deaths if we got handguns off the street. They kill more than long guns. The problem is long guns are random most times. Handguns are not. And guess what? Well, I won't do anymore. Let's see. Paul Fleming says, I knew that would get your attention and you knew me well. And Eric Hayes says, bring up the grade points on questions of are we getting another set of people rich just in another energy category? Yes, we are. And I think I think E2247, I've made that point before. The reason why I am not getting solar cells and the reason why I said I wanted the government to look at every rooftop as a potential energy source for which they would subsidize, right? Think about it. Here's the deal. I wanted panels on my home. The first thing they asked me is, how much was my electric bill? You don't need to know what my electric bill was. I want to know how much my panels cost. And not only how much my panels cost, but how much energy will I get? What's my return, etc. He didn't want to know that. He wanted to price the panels based on Senate saving me a few bucks on electricity. But then he capitalizing on most of the bucks made. Let's be clear here. That's not how it should work. That's not how we make life better. Now, I want you to think about something. Think about all the poor areas in, Eric may not want the solar panels on his roof. That's fine. But think about how many people in the hood, how many people in the barrios, how many people in Appalachia that we could go ahead and have the government throw panels on their homes tied into their electrical circuit. And these people suddenly, they serve two purposes. They're saving the earth from not throwing all that carbon into the air. We're giving them more money in their pockets, right? Because we're now using their rooftop as a generation engine. And they have more money in their pockets. I would give a stipend. I would give a credit. That credit being the solar panels on every poor person's home. No longer will they have $100 or $200 electric bill. It's like giving them $100 or $200 or whatever every month. There are so many things we could do to make life better for so many. I want to do a calculation of what it would cost to solarize, let's say, 20% of rooftops. I'd like to go 100%, but 20% of rooftops. We should do that. All right. Eric says no solar for me, so don't get solar. Go pay your stuff. Lee Grant says, Egberto, you should tell the Chinese about the climate crisis. They're building coal-fired plants. Look, the Chinese are building coal-fired plants. Eventually that will be obsolete, but let me tell you better. We, Americans, the UK of the Industrial Revolution, have thrown so much into the air. We own that. So other people getting their industrial complexes ready. In the short term, we don't want them to burn fuel. We probably want to help them out. But in the short term, what can I say? Kathy Pasquale, if nothing changes, nothing changes. We need to look at everything. Why we have a violent nation. Why we think killing people is a way to solve a problem. What are parents teaching their children? What is happening to the young men in our society? It's our whole society. It feels so overwhelming. And you know, like I said on the U Talk on KPFT, the show that comes on at 8 o'clock Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I said, here's the deal, guys. A state like Texas has a $30 billion, $33 billion surplus. Why don't we start using it to do good? Why don't we use it to do good? So Miss Kathy Pascal, you are absolutely right. Michael Rudnin is in the house now. Michael, you are late to coming in. We missed you. He says, makes me wish this story was public knowledge, but it's barely making the rounds in the mainstream media. Common dreams. Senate report Credit Suisse complicit in massive conspiracy to help rich Americans dodge taxes. Senator Ron Wyden said Republican budget cuts have decimated the IRS's ability to root out this kind of offshore tax evasion scheme, but Democrats are committed to stepping up enforcement against wealthy tax cheats. As part of the 2014 deal, according to the Justice Department, Credit Suisse admitted to knowingly and willfully helping U.S. clients hide offshore assets and income from the Internal Revenue Service. You guys can continue reading that. It's a rather long article that Michael Rudnin posted, but I'm glad you posted it along with the link because you guys can go ahead and look at the link. Got an article in CNN and Reuters, but that's about it. If the rich paid what they owe, like they used to in the 1940s and 50s, our nation's infrastructure wouldn't be crumbling and we would have a properly paid for social safety net. I agree. Paul Fleming says, if my electric bill average is $160, then why would I pay $300 a month? There you go. There you go, Paul. You just answered it. It's a ripoff right now. What we need is when you put a panel on your home, there should be a credit forward for you because you're taking us off of that energy. Now, my electric bill is ridiculously high because my computers run 24/7. I have some other stuff running, all of that. So that's what it is. Egberto, you paid 25 years for solar panels. Well, most people don't stay in their homes. Oh, and if you live in a bad house, how is solar panel going to help them versus food or cheap electricity choices? Again, solar panels will be the cheap electricity choices because I'm saying throw the panels everywhere. And that way they'll have an extra money to go buy their groceries. Eric Hayes says, Egberto is okay with China doing bad, but forcing all of us to... You don't get it. But again, deep thinking, sir, deep thinking. Paul Fleming says, rich people paying rich people to tell the middle class people to blame poor people. Oh my God, I love that one, Paul. I love that one. All right, one last video para ustedes that I need to play. And this one is Joe Scarborough. As you know, El Señor, the former Vice President Pence, was told that he likely had to testify. And you know, everybody's complaining. They're complaining about, what to do. And I like what Morning Joe did here. Morning Joe showed the depravity that is now endemic within the Republican Party. I want you to listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side.
The judge ruled that while Pence does have some limited protections because of the speech or debate clause of the Constitution, which can protect lawmakers from being compelled to discuss legislative activity, that immunity does not prevent him from testifying about conversations related to alleged illegality on Trump's part. It's not clear if Pence will appeal the ruling. Here's what he said last night on the right-wing pro-Trump channel Newsmax.
I have nothing to hide. I have a Constitution to uphold. I upheld the Constitution on January 6th. I believe we did our duty that day under the Constitution of the United States. We're currently speaking to our attorneys about the proper way forward. And as I said, we'll have a decision in the coming days.
Really, a lot of modifiers.
Well, can I get them all?
You know what else you could say? Newsmax.
That's what
in the prompter.
I said.
No, I
saw you reading the prompter by the right wing.
I struggle.
I think you have to do it these days.
Pro-Trump.
But there's another. Well, there's a larger point. I don't want to start a whole other conversation. Is it really right? Right wing used to be conservative.
Right.
There's a difference between being conservative and just being a Trumpist.
Right. Exactly.
Maybe that.
I never say conservative because they're not. They're the antithesis of conservatism, and they're not. You can't even say they're the right wing, because right wing usually denotes somebody that's pro-military, pro-law enforcement.
And they're not.
They hate the military. They always talk about how they'd rather us be Russia. They hate law enforcement. If law enforcement is like the FBI or Capitol Hill cops, if they're getting in the way of their sort of radical anarchic behavior, they're not even a right wing.
No, and also they've just spent an entire event in Waco, Texas, celebrating the people who beat up cops on January 6th.
They have.
So,
can you imagine if the left did this?
Oh,
they have the leading candidate for president, for their nomination for the presidency, praising. They have put together a choir of convicts.
It's deranged.
They beat the crap out of cops.
There you go.
With an American flag, Willie, and 4 died.
Yeah.
And their families directly blame the assault, the rioters. They defecated in the Capitol. Can you imagine if left-wingers did all of that and then...
It'd go crazy.
And then Bernie Sanders says, I have a good idea. Let's make a choir. And the choir, they can sing, like they can sing, and we can celebrate. We can celebrate the fact that they beat the hell out of cops. And then they defecated on the Capitol. We can do that, right? That'll help us. I mean, think about that. What would Newsmax say? What would Fox say? What would all these right-wing? They are openly praising rioters and convicts.
You can see Bernie at Burlington, Vermont, having a rally, a big rally with his puffer coat on. Bring out the choir.
Bring out the choir.
It's insane. Deeply sick, actually. It's deeply sick.
Oh, by the way, here's the choir on their debut.
These are your heroes. These are your heroes.
This is the hero of the Republican Party. These are the heroes of Donald Trump. These are the heroes of MTG. This is who they love, Willie.
They're visiting them in prison as if it's Birmingham in 63 something. Political prisoners.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it goes. My God, I lost it. Okay, finally. And one of our lights just went out and I thought I could get it fixed rather quickly, but I can't. So Forgive that little dim thing that came out there. It looks like the light just blew as we started talking, which means I got to get it fixed. Anyhow, folks, I hope you liked that, okay? Because when you take a look at what Morning Joe is saying, he's correct. How can they possibly? No, it shouldn't be frozen. I think go ahead and reboot, or not reboot, but I don't think it should be frozen. All right. I hope you like that. Anyhow, let me qualify that. Morning Joe is actually very right about this. These guys are glorifying. They're glorifying crime. Think about that. They're glorifying crime. And as he said, suppose this was something that some lefty did. You would not hear the end of it. They would be talking about the lefties and, well, you guys know exactly where I'm going with that. So we ought to be cognizant of the grand hypocrisy that we're talking about here. The grand hypocrisy. Morning Joe is becoming just like The View, according to our good friend Lee Grant. Kathy Courtney says Morning Joe is correct in this case. You're absolutely right. Morning Joe has been correct. I mean, I think what's going on is that Mika Brzezinski is starting to rub off on him. You know, she's a very smart woman, so that's what it is. Joe, he's on the money, is what Bridge MCP says. Bridge MCP says it won't hurt them, and that is sad. You know, I think as their district changes, it will. You know, I mean, even like our district here with my congressman, wow, and why can't I remember my own Crenshaw? Crenshaw is in Texas too. And I can guarantee you in the long run, Crenshaw is going to pay the price, and that's why he has been trying to moderate the way he speaks now. Because our district too in Texas is a changing. It's a changing. All right, E2247 says, I got to turn off this electricity sucking stream, but I'm addicted to PDR. Oh, whoa, misfortune, affliction, and grief is me. My brother, thank you for your... This is a good addiction because we learn together. We are going to learn together. So that's a good affliction to have. Daniela Doe says, to Kathy Pascal, I sympathize with you. It does feel overwhelming. So many cultural changes and divisive politics have made so many angry. It is going to get worse before it gets better, I think is what you want to say. I don't know how much worse it can get, but what I tell people, those of you who are willing to give unadulterated love, try it. I'm going to try it. Not I'm going to try it. I do it. Right? Try to stay with everybody. That's what we got to do. That's what we got to do. Eric K says, Force Spence, Force Joe, and Mayorkas, and on talk. All right. Carl Cox says, too many Democrats vote with Republicans to protect the mega rich, mega corporations such as corporate welfare. What we got to do is we got to talk to our people. And that is something that I spoke to with the chairman today when we interviewed. We have to reach people where they are. And, you know, that's what I mostly try to. Every now and then I give, because you guys are here with me all of the times, I give some of you a hard time. But when I'm talking to my right-wing brothers and sisters out there, I am a lot less forceful than in this room here at times. But even in this room, notice that everybody has free reign, and all my conservatives get to say just about the things that they want to say, even though many times I know they don't believe the things that they're saying. I know many of you don't believe the things that you're saying. But anyhow, peeps, we're coming close to the end of the show. We are at 55 right now. If you have anything else you want to talk about before I get out of here, stick it in the chat. Let's see. P.S. I finally bought and received Egberto Willies' books. I can't post the photos here, but please do. And don't forget to tell folks to go get those books at politicsdoneright.com/books. politicsdoneright.com/books. Kathy, I should have, we saw each other many times at these different functions. And each time I said I'm going to bring these books and I forget to bring the books. So I decided to post it. I hope you got the bumper stickers and all of that I sent you in the package as well. Anybody else feel free to go ahead and por favor, go to politicsdoneright.com/books and purchase the books at Amazon. If you want to get a copy directly, you can go to our go to williesmediallc.com and I will be able to ship it from my place here and sign it for you. Solomon Kane, my brother, how you doing, sir? I hope you're getting better and stronger. Let me know if you're getting better and stronger. He said, Egberto, hope things are well with you. Please tell Mike Doyle congratulations from Hi Bui and myself. I will tell Mike we're going to have a meeting in the next few days. So I will tell him about it, El Señor. Since you're using your pseudonym, I won't say your real name right now. Tell Egberto to show the link. Okay, I will show the link. Books, even autographed. Yes, I autographed the books for you, my dear, beautiful Kathy Courtney. And I think it's about that time for me to go ahead and tell folks how they can support the show by getting some of our stuff. So here we go. Aquí estamos. Please, if you are interested in getting my books as Kathy Courtney did, you can go to politicsdoneright.com/books to get the books. That will ship directly from Amazon. But if you, by chance, let's see what we got here. Oh, I got something wrong. Anyway, so I just put that. Did I put that in the? Oh, I better put it again. It seems like it didn't take. It seems like there was an error in the room. Let me try it again. Did you guys see that now? I think you did. It's posted now. All right. There is a link to go ahead and get the books. You can also support the show by supporting us on PayPal, politicsdoneright.com/PayPal, politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. Alternatively, you can become a Patreon, politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. Patreon is spelled Patreon. Patreon, politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. We need about 1,000 patrons. We only have just under 100 patrons or so. You can support us as well on YouTube by just clicking on that stuff that says join. And you can join our YouTube channel that way. Or if you're not on YouTube, you can join our YouTube channel still by going to politicsdoneright.com/YouTube. It's politicsdoneright.com/YouTube. Sorry that you missed a whole lot of our show today, Bridge, but I love you. You know you're always here. No matter what. By the way, you can support us on Facebook as well, politicsdoneright.com/Facebook. But here's the deal. The all-encompassing way to support us is by going to our all-encompassing support link, politicsdoneright.com/support, politicsdoneright.com/support. It has all the different ways in which you support the show. I want to thank all of you. Egberto, why don't you have a cowboy hat for PDR? Oh, I got to find one then. You see, you guys always tell me what to do. And I oblige. It's my job. I'm going to look for a cowboy hat. You see, you got me working now. You got me working, Bridge. Madre mía, ¿por qué estás haciendo eso conmigo, corazoncita? But I will. All right, get the fishing hat. Let Lee, he went to school, maybe of those so-called Christians did something to him. I think that's what happened, Bridge. Egbert and PDR Posse, I say the following. Vaya con Dios and adios, muchachos. I love that, Carl Cox. I love that. Hey, Kathy, we missed you at the UU Church for that great festival that they had out there. I thought you would have been out there getting some of that good vegan food that they served. It was really good. What else have we got here before I leave? Kathy Pasquale says, march on, brave, dedicated soldiers. Thank you, my dear, beautiful lady. That's what we will do. Another great supporter is Kathy Pascal. We have Lee Grant says, maybe the Christians made him trans. I don't know, Lee. And by the way, you see, Lee gives me a hard time all the time, but I want to thank Lee. Lee has always been a good supporter of the program as well. Because you know what? What is it that you tell me all the time? You like free speech, and you get free speech when you come here, and I give you free speech as well. Because I'm going to speak freely. Anyhow, it's about that time to get out of here. Any messages that come out in the next 30 seconds, I'm going to read it. And other than that, I'm going to shut this baby down. So come on, messages. Anything else you guys want to add before I leave? Let me hear it, and we'll put it out there. Oh, one last question, and I want you to vote on this. Let me know if and when you guys want me to do the phones here on our internet show as well. If you do, I'll go ahead and reinvest in the phone system to go ahead and have us have the call-ins again. So your call. You guys let me know what you want. I won't ask you to vote now. I'll ask you to vote a bit later, maybe tomorrow or so. Anyway, my name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out. Where are you? Out? I am what? Out. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.